Hello students, my name is Ms. Glass. I am a second grade teacher at Thurgood Marshall Elementary and I am here to teach so that you can learn. Today I am very excited to read with you and learn and grow. We're going to have a great time together. Now to get ready for this today, here's what you need. You need to have a comfortable space to listen, and if you have a partner, you could bring that person in. Maybe it's someone you live with, or maybe it's a stuffed animal, or maybe it's an imaginary friend, just like I have. Like I have my imaginary friend over here, Gwendolyn. Nice to see you. Oh, and don't forget Bob. He's over here. Hey, Bob. How are the kids? Good. Great. Well, so now that we have our setup here, we're going to dive right in. But to get ready, we need to get our bodies ready. To do that today, we are going to do some rainbow breathing. To do rainbow breaths, you are going to imagine that you have the power of rainbow between your two hands. And to do this, you are going to breathe in, and your rainbow will grow, and you'll breathe out, and your rainbow will grow again. So let's try it. Ready? You're going to breathe in, and then breathe out. Ooh, picture that beautiful rainbow. Let's do it again. Ready? Breathe in. And then breathe out. So nice. One last rainbow breath. Ready? In. And then out. I feel ready to learn, and I hope you are too. Last time we were together, we read an incredible book. You might remember Bend and Stretch. It's a great book. It's an expository nonfiction book, which means it's not a story. It's expository, which means it tells you true facts and information about a topic. And in this case, it's learning about bones and muscles. So you probably remember quite a bit from this book. And we're going to do some refresh and some reminders of some new things that you've learned about. But just to do a quick reminder, we're going to actually dive into some parts that we've already read before. Today we are going to reread starting right here on page 5. Now on page 5 we read this. Muscles are like bundles of stretchy rubber bands that hold your bones together. They are attached to your bones and help them move. And right below that on this page, you noticed there's a little box. I'm going to read to you that box. It says, you and a giraffe have the same number of neck bones. The giraffes are just bigger than yours. Now this right here, my friends, is another text feature. Text boxes, just like this, are often found in nonfiction expository books. And text boxes, it's like the rest of the book, but instead it's in a smaller box, usually somewhere else on the page, and it has really interesting, juicy little pieces of information, like this part about the giraffe. That is so juicy. Who knew? A giraffe's neck and human necks? Same number of bones? That's fascinating. So a text box is a great text feature that you can use to learn more information. In fact, let's add it to our text feature chart. Beautiful. Text boxes. Great to have them. All right, let's look for some more text boxes in this book. Let's see. What did we come across here? Aha! Here on page 7, we learned some bones join together as you get older. Your bones also get harder as you grow. Adults have 206 bones that are hard and strong. And then this is where things get interesting. There's another text box. It says, around age 25, all of your bones will be hard. Then you will stop growing. Wow. Let's see if we can find some more text boxes. Aha! Another one. Now this one on page 9 says, on the outside, bones are smooth. So the rest of the page is telling us a lot about bones, but this is kind of just a little fun fact and reminder, right? So I have a question for you. We've taken a look at all these different text features in this book at the very beginning here. My question is, what kinds of new information did you learn from text boxes in this book so far? Take a moment to think. thinking about that giraffe's neck again, or maybe you were thinking about how many bones we have in our body. There's lots of fascinating facts you can learn just from looking in a text box. It's awesome. So let's take a look. There are some more text boxes I want you to pay close attention to. Let's see. Aha! Page 17. Up above it says, did you ever pull a muscle? Pulling a muscle is actually tearing your muscle. Muscles can heal like bones. Some muscles work on their own. This is the text box. Your heart is one muscle that does this. So up above it tells us about tearing muscles, but then down below it talks about a specific muscle. I'm learning more about text boxes. Let's find some more. Right here on page 19 it says exercise is good for bones too. Bones and muscles also like it when you eat right and drink lots of water. That helps them to work well. And in the text box it says, make a face. Your face has more than 30 muscles. Right? Another fun fact right here. Let's look for another text box. Aha! Page 20, another text box. Take good care of your bones. Wear a helmet when you ride a bike. Wear elbow and knee pads when you skate on skateboards. And our text box right here says, what muscles work the hardest? Surprise! Your eye muscles move about 100,000 times each day. Wow. So now that we've paid closer attention to those text boxes, I have a question for you. What new information did you learn about muscles and bones just from the text boxes? Take a moment to think. So maybe you were thinking a lot about these text boxes and you were thinking, oh wow, the muscle that works the hardest is in your eyes. Who would even think that? Your eyes are constantly looking around. We learned that from a text box. There's tons you can learn from text boxes. They're incredible text features. All right, we're going to move on to a part of the book that we didn't get to yesterday. This is a new part, and this part is found in the very back of the book. So let's take a look. In the back of the book, there's some hidden sections we haven't seen yet. Let's look. This one says bones and muscles. An interesting heading. And this one says find your joints. Tools of the trade. Wow. So these headings back here are places that you can find fun facts and more to learn. Now these text features are awesome because it just gives you more. Maybe you were reading and you wondered more about bones and muscles as you were reading. You can often look in the back of expository nonfiction books and find pages like this that have fun facts or more information. In fact, we should add that to our text feature chart. Let's get it up there. Let's add headings like we saw right here, and we can add fun facts to our text feature chart. Awesome. All right, let's actually dig in and read a little bit from this section because it sounds really interesting. This first one is titled Bones and Muscles, and it's in a list. You can see there are bulleted points on the list. The first part in the list says, there are 3 types of muscles: smooth, like your stomach, cardiac, like your heart muscle, and skeletal, the muscles that hold your bones together. Your tongue is a group of muscles. Tendons are cords that connect bones and muscle. Most people have 12 pairs of ribs. Some people have extra ribs. Your skull is made up of 30 different bones. 1 foot and ankle has 52 bones. 1 hand and wrist has 54 bones. Your femur is your thigh bone. It's the longest bone in your body. So that was a list called Bones and Muscles. Lots of fun facts in there. Let's look at the next page. On this page, we have two sections. The first one, the heading says, Find Your Joints. Can you name some joints in your body? Remember, a joint is a place where two bones meet. Most joints are in the places where you can bend. You have more than 230 joints in your body. Take a moment to think. You can even look on your body. What are some joints on your body? Maybe you discovered some new joints you hadn't thought about. Maybe you were like me and you noticed, when I bend my fingers, I can actually see the shape of my bones and I can see them bending at the joint. Or maybe you notice that when you bend over, that there are some bones that meet right at your hips, right? That's another joint, your hip joint. There are lots of different joints. Something cool about this book is that when you flip it upside down, you can see they answer the question of what joints do you have on your body. Let's read it. It says, some possible answers: elbows, knees, ankles, wrists, neck, fingers, hips, shoulders, toes. Did you come up with any of those? Amazing. That little section right here in the back of the book with more information says, tools of the trade. To check your bones, your doctor might take an x-ray. An x-ray machine takes pictures through your skin and muscles. Then your doctor looks at the pictures. An x-ray can show a broken or cracked bone. To check your muscles, your doctor may ask you to twist and bend. She or he will watch to see if it's easy or hard for you. So after reading these pages in the back with more information and fun facts about bones and muscles, what new information did you learn? Take a moment to think. Maybe you noticed that it talked about how people have 12 pairs of ribs, but some people have more ribs. Fascinating. Or maybe you learned over here on this side about joints and you realized, oh yeah, I have a joint in my elbow. There's lots to learn and tons of fun facts that you can find in the back of the book. We're going to go even further to the back of the book to some sections that I think you might have heard of. Let's take a look. We've got a glossary. We've got an index. Do you remember learning about the glossary and index in the book about snails? There's one in here too. So let's take a look. We've got our glossary right here, and in the glossary, the first word I can see in alphabetical order is bone. And it defines bone, or tells us what bone means. One of the hard white parts that makes up your skeleton. It also has bone marrow, the jelly-like material inside of the bone where your blood cells are made, joint, the bendable place where two bones meet, muscle, a rubbery part of your body that produces movement, and skeleton, your body's framework of bones. So remember, a glossary is a place where you can find out what important words from the book, what they mean. It defines the words. Also remembered from our snail book that there's an index. And in the index, it lists important words that you might be looking for in the book. It puts them in alphabetical order, and then if you're looking for one, you can find it on the list, and right next to it, it tells us the page number. So for example, let's say you were doing a research project and you wanted to learn more about the lungs. Then you would flip to the back of the book, whoop, and you would see right here, aha, there it is, lungs, page 11. So let's flip and see if we can find it. Page 11. Aha, page 11. And you're going to reread it, see if you can find more about lungs. It says, your rib cage protects your heart, lungs, and stomach. There we go. So if you're researching lungs, you could say, oh yeah, I learned about a rib cage and how that's what protects the lungs. That's a great thing you can do using an index. Something else that is cool about this book is a little section that's called To Learn More. The To Learn More section is for people that are curious, right? Maybe you were reading this book and you thought, I have so many more questions. I have to learn more. Not just from this book, because we read from all kinds of different things. And you said, where can I find that? This is your place. It says To Learn More at the library. And then it has a list of books. And when they list the books on here, they list the information about who the author is. They talk about the title and when it was published. So on here I can see there's a book called Dem Bones. Another book called Bones, our skeletal system. Another book called Muscles, our muscular system. There's also another section right here that says On the Web. FactHound offers a safe, fun way to find websites related to topics in this book. All of the sites on FactHound have been researched by our staff. And then it tells you how to get to facthound.com. And in fact, if you're interested in going to that website, I'll tell you the website right now. It's www.facthound.com. Maybe you want to go on there and do some more research about muscles and bones. That sounds pretty cool. It is time for us to move on to our vocab portion of the day. Here we go. Welcome to Vocab Today. Today we're going to take a look at some vocab words from Bend and Stretch, and we're going to dive in right now toward the end of the book with an important word that you're going to need to know. On page 19, you will remember that we learned exercise is good for bones too. Bones and muscles also like it when you eat right and drink lots of water. That helps them to work well. So in this part of the book, we learned about ways to take care of your body, right? It's important that you take care of your bones and your muscles because that's part of your body. And when you take care of something, that means you are doing something beneficial. The word today that we're going to learn is beneficial. Say it with me, everybody. Ready? Beneficial. So when something is beneficial, that means that it's good for you or it's helpful. So things like eating right and exercising, those are things that are beneficial for your bones and muscles. So I've got some quizzes for you to find out if you know what beneficial means, right? So the first one I've got for you is, this is going to be a game called Beneficial or Not Beneficial. The first one I want you to think about is a scenario. Imagine you have a giant pile of delicious candy. Is eating all of that delicious candy beneficial for your body or not beneficial for your body? You can use my sentence frame to answer that question. Eating candy is beneficial for my body because, or eating candy is not beneficial for my body because. Take a moment to think. Okey-dokey. Maybe you just said, actually, it is not beneficial to eat candy. It's not beneficial to your body because when you have too much sugar in your body, it does not make you feel good and it doesn't make your body work very well. All right, are you ready for another beneficial or not beneficial? The next one is brushing your teeth. Brushing your teeth. Is brushing your teeth beneficial for your body or is it not beneficial? Let's use the sentences to answer. Brushing your teeth is beneficial for your body because, or brushing your teeth is not beneficial for your body because. Take a moment to think. Maybe you just said brushing your teeth is beneficial for your body because you won't get cavities if you brush your teeth, right? Brush every day. So our first word today was beneficial. And we know that beneficial means it's something that you do that's good for you, right? All right, let's move on to our second vocab word of the day. Now this word also comes from Bend and Stretch, and it comes toward the end of the book here. On this page, excuse me, we learned that take good care of your bones. Wear a helmet when you ride a bike. Wear elbow and knee pads when you ride or skate on skateboards. Take good care of your muscles. Stretch them every day. Reach for the sky. So in that section of the book, we talked a little bit about things that you should do when you were exercising. Like, for example, they said wear a helmet if you're riding your bike, right? And we wear helmets so that we can protect our heads in case we get hurt. And when you are wearing a helmet or taking care of something to make sure nothing bad happens, that is taking a precaution. The vocab word right now is precaution. Go ahead and read it with me. Precaution. So when you take a precaution, that means that it's something that you do to keep something bad from happening, right? So those things like wearing a helmet or knee pads, those are all precautions that you can take. So today I'm going to give you some scenarios and I'm going to ask you, how can you take a precaution? So the first one is this. What precautions would you take if you needed to cross a busy street? Let's use a sentence stem. A precaution I would take if I needed to cross a busy street would be... Maybe you just said a precaution I would take if I needed to cross a busy street is looking both ways because I don't want to get hurt. All right, let's do another one. Our next one is, what precautions would you take if you wanted to spend some time in the sun? Let's use a sentence. Precautions I would take if I wanted to spend time in the sun would be... Take some time to think. Maybe you're like me and you take the precaution of putting sunscreen on your skin so that you don't get sunburned. Or maybe you get really hot when you're in the sun, so you decide to wear a hat when you're in the sun so that you don't get too hot. Those are precautions that you can take. Remember, a precaution is to do something to make sure nothing bad happens. So our second word is precaution. All right, thanks for joining us for vocab. Let's move on to the next part. Okay, friends, we've reached the end of our lesson today, but not the end of your learning. It is time for us to go off and read and practice all those awesome skills you learned today. Don't forget to look for text features as you read today. And there's all kinds of nonfiction reading that you can do. Maybe you have a great book at home, or maybe you're going to check out a website or something in your packet. There's lots to read that's nonfiction. For me, I'm actually going to check out a website. So today, I actually found a website from the book we were reading. Remember in the Learn More section? There's a whole section that told you websites. And one of those websites sounded really interesting to me. So I'm going to go to that website to learn more. That website is, let's see, www.facthound.com. And I'll search right here. Ooh, wow. I am so excited to dive into this that I'm just going to start reading right now. And I hope that you have found something awesome to read. And you're going to go off to read. Happy reading, everybody. See you tomorrow.